She's the CEO of the Institute of Internal Auditors of Kenya. This week we speak to Dr. Joyce Omina on the reforms in the sector and what's needed to take it to the next level. This is She Means Business. I am your host, Claire Munde. Hi Joyce.
Hi Claire.
Welcome to She Means Business.
Thank you.
So a disclaimer, I have a flu, so my voice will be up and down, but we will do the interview anyway. Give us a little background of your journey. Why all the certifications? What is the symbolism of that? And you are a doctor. So give us your journey through academics and your career to where you are today.
Okay. Thank you, Claire. When I finished Form 4, that waiting period to go to university, I decided to do my CPAs. And I think at that time, CPA was really hyped. So I wanted to also do CPA. And I was inspired by my sister Elizabeth because she had done CPA and had excelled so well. So I said, let me also venture into this CPA at KCA University. At that time, there are not so many colleges offering CPA. So I started my CPA as I waited to go to campus. And actually, my sister Elizabeth paid for my fee for CPA. Then came the following year in August, we joined KU, Kenyatta University, to do a BSc in computer science. After that, started working, then did my master's, which was a Master of Science in Finance and Investments at KCA University. And then soon after I graduated in my master's, I did my PhD at UNICAF University, Accounting and Finance. Now the certifications came in between. I was working and doing my certifications and just trying to improve myself career-wise. Yes.
And what does an internal auditor do?
Okay. So an internal auditor, unlike an external auditor, is an employee of the organization. So this is someone who comes every day to work in that organization. An external auditor is external and only comes once or twice a year. So an internal auditor checks controls. In a nutshell, they review controls. And what are controls? These are the policies, procedures, systems in place in an organization to ensure that there are checks and balances, that everything is running smoothly and there is operational efficiency. We say internal auditors are value-add partners. So we always seek to improve the organization's efficiency. Yes.
Okay. And in your career journey, you went until PhD. What was the thinking of through when you were doing that? Because you said it was self-improvement, but why the PhD? Is it necessary for your career, or what is the thinking there?
When I was young, my dad wanted me to be a doctor, a medical doctor. So I remember when I was in class 6, the headmaster at our school sent me home to call my dad because he wanted me to skip class 7 because he thought I was doing so well, I didn't need to go through the full 8 years. So I knew at that time I was academically gifted. And so I think I've been taking advantage of that. And I've gotten a lot of awards in my academics. CASNEB has given me a lot of awards and many others because of my academics. So I thought I've done my master's, why not go for the doctorate? And that was the thinking behind it. And I say knowledge is power. There's no limit. I feel like I utilize all the knowledge I've gained from primary school to high school. I've utilized my knowledge to acquire more skills and to be where I am.
Okay. Sometimes people who are good academically, when it comes to leadership, it's not always that easy. What has been your experience and how have you been able to grow within the leadership field?
Okay, that's true. In fact, I think leadership requires a lot of people skills and does not require necessarily someone who is academically gifted or academically good or has a PhD. You just need to be good with people. And that is something that I've really worked on with time because I'm a type D personality. So Type Ds are known to be dominating, domineering, and I am not. I think with time, I've really learned to step back and listen more. Again, leading people is difficult because people come from very different backgrounds, with very different thinking, with various attitudes. So it's understanding. First, me understanding my personality type. I know how I can relate with each one. And then also assigning team members according to their strengths and also working on their weaknesses has been a plus for me. I also seek leadership courses just to improve myself on the soft skills. And also, what else? I mentor the young people. Yes.
Okay. So you said you're type D.
Yes.
Which one is D? I've heard of type A.
That is in the disc personality. So the disc personality is the type D. Is the green. If it's color coded, it's the green. So the green, they are leaders. And the downside is that they are dominating and domineering. So that's the type D. And then we need things done now. Yes. But with time, I think I could be now a mix of another color. Because for sure, I am not domineering.
Okay.
Yes.
So you said that you have to understand different personalities.
Yes.
What have been the biggest challenges for you in leadership?
Again, it is understanding people who have very different backgrounds and very different personalities. And some people would feel something but not air it out. Like myself, I'm very vocal. If I'm not pleased, I would speak out immediately. I would not keep it in. So just understanding different people who come along, and it could be the bosses because I also report to the board, and it could be my staff members who report to me. So it's just understanding people through and knowing how to deal with people differently. I always say I'm more of a situational leader. So depending on which situation, if I want something now, depending on the agency, we have compliance requirements. But then again, I would flex if it's something that doesn't require maybe a strict deadline. So it's about situational leadership. Which situation calls for which kind of, method of leading.
Now let's talk about work-life integration. You've done a lot of courses, studying and so on. What does that look like for you when it comes to balancing professional and personal life?
And I'm glad, Claire, you said integration, because we moved away from saying balance. It's never a balance. It's never 50-50. It's how you integrate. You see, we are being told when you have a Zoom meeting and you're carrying your newborn, you do them both at the same time. So it's about how do we integrate. And I believe for you to strike a balance or to have a healthy work-life integration, you need to be very intentional. You need to be very intentional about your activities, about how you spend your weekends, how you spend your evenings. So I think that's what I've been able to do, to be very intentional. I'm also very active in church. I'm a staunch Catholic, and I'm in very many groups and ministries where I'm actively involved and I'm a leader. So I'm able to just see, what do I do when do I stop? It's also important to say no at some point. Usually have many meetings over the weekend. We travel a lot, but it's just being intentional and planning well. I'm very meticulous. I plan. I'm very organized. I plan. And they say failing to plan is planning to fail.
So what does a typical weekend look like for you?
On Saturdays, I would spend time with my kids. I have an 11-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son, and my husband is there. So we spend time with family if I don't have meetings. On Sundays, it's church activities. So we go to church, we have other meetings outside the church, then also spending time with my family now, my siblings, because I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers. And then my parents are also there. They're in Busia.
Okay.
Yes.
Now tell me, in your career, what has been one highlight? I know there must be many, but just give me one.
Wow, there have been many, as you've mentioned. I think even being appointed as the CEO of IA Kenya, because I was not even a head of internal audit before I came here. I was not even a head of internal audit. I was just a senior internal auditor reporting to a head. And then I was just appointed. My qualifications at that time just fitted what IA needed. And I think that has been a great highlight. The exposure has been wonderful. I've gotten to travel quite a bit. I've gotten to meet people. I've gotten to influence and be influenced. And I'm very grateful. Yes.
Okay. And what has been a low in your career?
It has been challenging, especially the bit of managing people, because sometimes the buck stops with you. You cannot say, Claire did not do this. You are the CEO. So sometimes taking the burden of everyone else is a bit difficult, and it can be quite overwhelming because the buck stops with me. I cannot say anything else. I have to answer as a CEO. I think that is just the challenge. Yes.
Okay. And you're talking about the buck stops with you. Let's talk about wider Kenya, the state of audit.
Yes.
What can you say about that? Because sometimes leaders are like, it's not me who did it, so why should I resign, so on and so forth. Tell us about the state of Kenya's audit.
The internal audit profession in Kenya has grown. It has grown with time. The institute was established in 2002 in December. So we are just like 22 years old. And it has really grown. When we started audit, there was something called pre-audits. So pre-audits would mean when you prepare a payment voucher, you bring to the internal auditor to check first before it is paid. You are doing work before. You're supposed to do after. So that changed under the Public Finance Management Act. So now we move to post-audit, where once everything is done, the problem with pre-audits is you cannot hold someone accountable, because they will say, but the auditor already checked. The auditor already signed off on this, which was removing liability from those who are doing maybe, let me say, bad things. But now with the post-audit, that really it improved the processes. It made sense. The other thing is right now we are undergoing a lot of public finance management reforms at the National Treasury. IIA is at the forefront of that. So there are still reforms, because the internal auditor reports to the audit committee. So how do we ensure internal auditors are independent? The reporting is right. There are still many gaps because you see counties, the internal audit teams are not very enabled, and that is something we are really working on at the Institute. We work with the Council of Governors, we work with the County Assembly Forum to just ensure, do we empower even the internal auditors at the counties. Because the counties, there is county governments and county assemblies. So we have 47 internal audit teams at the counties. So we just try to ensure that they are empowered through trainings, through sensitization, through visits. The other thing is we are doing the internal audit bill. So the bill has been around for some time as a bill and has undergone revisions. This year, we are hoping that this bill will be enacted to law. So we've already done the bill, well drafted it under guidance of our drafters from the Attorney General's office, and we hope we'll start with the public participation. We get views from the general public, and then this can go to Parliament for the first hearing, second hearing, and then it's enacted to law. That bill will be a game changer for us. It will empower internal auditors fully. So that is what we are hoping for now.
Okay. Yes. And tell us, what is one of the biggest reforms that bill will bring if it's...
It's always about positioning for public sector entities. So where is the head of internal auditor placed in the hierarchy at the organization? So when you are very low, then there is no independence, there is no power, because you cannot audit someone who is at a higher level. So if that positioning is addressed, then it will be very good. The other one is having all internal auditors to be members of the institute, because we are there to a code of ethics, to some standards which we have to adhere to every year. You tick even before you become a member. The other one is the certification, the CIA. We want to enhance it. We have very few certified members in Kenya, yet we are the custodians of the standards, the global internal audit standards. So if you're not a member of IIA and you are auditing and the standards are the ones which guide, then how are you doing your work? Because these standards are the ones that guide you. So everyone to become a member of IIA, certified members to increase with time, positioning, those are some of the issues. And also protection of internal auditors. In November last year, the Institute of Internal Auditors Kenya, we came up with a framework spearheaded by the board, especially our chair was at the forefront. We have a member protection framework. So this framework is, it aims to protect internal auditors, because our work sometimes can, land others into trouble. Because you're saying here you're not doing things right, this should be done like this. So we have a framework now in place where members can bring their issues, fill their forms, and we see how we can assist them through that framework.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're going to quick fire section in a bit, but tell me, what does repositioning the profession look like? You're saying you can't audit someone higher than you, so what would repositioning look like?
So as per the standards, as per best practice, an internal auditor reports functionally to the audit committee and only administratively to the CEO or the accounting officer. So that repositioning will make that internal auditor, you see, anything in the organization, they'll be able to report directly to the audit committee, which is a committee to the board. And that would enhance accountability, enhance the internal controls, ensure the efficiencies that we are seeking. So it will be a game changer for us. Yes.
What do you do for fun?
I do a lot of charity work, and also I watch a lot of movies. I think I'm a movie fanatic. So
okay.
Yes.
10 years from now, what is Joyce doing?
Wow. 10 years from now, I would like to be in a governance position and enacting policies and procedures still for governance, for risk, for controls, for internal audit. That's where I see myself 10 years from now.
Okay. Now I want you to look into your camera and speak to a lady who is maybe an internal audit or elsewhere. What's one piece of advice you'd give her to succeed?
If you're there and you want to succeed in internal audit, one, look for a mentor, and then network, invest in yourself. These breakfast meetings, dinners, IIA Kenya has a student membership which is free. You can join, gain so much knowledge, information. There are portals full of standards. So ensure you invest in yourself in terms of your career, where you want to be. Then also the crowd you hang out with, make sure it's the crowd that improves you and not the one that brings you down. And seek for opportunities. Always be on the know. Who are recruiting? Where are we going as a country? Have knowledge of the economics and where we are as a country, because these are things that are asked for in interviews. And put God first.
You heard it from Joyce Omina, Dr. Joyce Omina. Invest in yourself and you'll get to where you want to go. This has been She Means Business. I have been your host, Claire Munde. Until next time, have a good one.